Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Live at 4 on this Friday. Amanda Quintana is in for Susan Simon, who's on vacation. This is actually the last Live at 4 of the year.
Wow.
Because we're preempted by football next Monday and Tuesday, so.
Last Live at 4. Goodbye to 2018.
This is it. So,
this is it.
Busy show today. Here's what's making news on this Friday. A Madison West Side daycare is shut down abruptly. Rose Schmidt has the surprising answer as to why.
And after an intensive statewide manhunt, a suspect wanted in the slaying of a California police officer has been captured while he was trying to escape to Mexico.
And President Trump is not backing down on what it'll take to end the government shutdown. We'll have the latest tweet proclamation. Let's take a look outside. Kind of wintry today compared to yesterday.
Yeah, well, it came back from California, and it was definitely wintry after that.
Yeah, you should have been here yesterday. It was almost 50, but this guy's still fishing.
Enjoying it.
On the open water, December temporarily returns, however, and Dave Caulfield does as well. He's in the backyard, earmuffs on. That's not a good sign.
Well, it's temporary. Everything is temporary in this forecast, it seems, Mark and Amanda. The light snow still falling across portions of southern Wisconsin. Doppler track a little bit more active compared to a few hours ago. That radar picture filling in just a little bit, but this is very, very light snow and really not sticking a lot. Maybe on some grassy surfaces is just starting to stick because temperatures have really been too warm throughout the day to get a lot of that snow sticking around. But the snow shower activity is sticking around this evening. We're seeing that in downtown Madison, the Edgewater Skycam. Visibility has improved, though, compared to the last hour, right at the freezing mark of 32 degrees with light snow being reported at the airport. Northwest wind at 13 miles per hour. Temperatures much colder than yesterday in the 20s and 30s at the 4 o'clock hour. About 15 degrees colder, in fact, pretty much across the board for southern Wisconsin. Wind speeds, they are a little bit calmer, but that wind out of the north and west now making it feel a little bit colder outside at about 8 to 15 miles per hour. Here's a live look in Madison on the WISC-TV Skycam. Snow showers, maybe some flurries hanging around this evening. Then we'll transition to just cloudy skies with temperatures falling through the 20s. So here's a look at your first alert traffic update, taking a live look at the Beltline and John Nolan Drive. No major problems showing up there. No major accidents or incidents to report, which is always good news when we're talking about snow across Dane County. Traffic is generally heading out at the posted speeds, although we are starting to see those normal Friday afternoon slowdowns on the Beltline in both directions. A little bit slow go, especially closer to Rimrock Road, John Nolan Drive, and Park Street. And we're starting to see a little bit of volume pick up on Stoughton Road, but the interstate's still looking good. Eastbound Verona Road to John Nolan on the Beltline, a little bit slow at 8 minutes, average speed of around 30 miles per hour. Some other routes in and around Madison. Downtown to Sun Prairie on 151, that is running at schedule, 17 minutes right now. Average speed of around 35 miles per hour. That is your first alert traffic update. Coming up, we'll talk about December snows past and if we can make up this snowfall deficit as we head into the coming months in your first alert forecast.
All right, we will see. Thank you, Dave.
News 3 is investigating why a Madison daycare has closed, leaving many families without child care for the holidays.
We've learned the state has revoked the license of Angel's Joy Learning Center. News 3's Rose Schmidt has spent the day digging into what caused this license closure and joins us now with the details. Rose.
That's right. The Wisconsin Department of Children and Families received a complaint saying a man with a felony conviction of murder was employed at the daycare center and had contact with children. Last week, the department sent a letter revoking the daycare's license. Court records show that employee, 44-year-old Tracy Ferguson, was convicted of murder and aggravated battery with a firearm in 1993 in Illinois and was paroled in January of this year. The state learned he has been working at Angel's Joy Learning Center since February and is the brother of the center's director. State documents show Ferguson was paid off the books, and he did maintenance work and worked in the kitchen while children were at that daycare. The center's director told the state she knew her brother would not pass a background check and could not work with children. We reached out to Angel's Joy for a comment on this story. They sent us a statement saying, in part, "We are aware that the closing of the center has affected many families. Please know we are doing everything possible in cooperation with licensing to rectify this situation. It is our goal to have our facility up and running as soon as possible." State documents show the center's director lied to the Department of Children and Families when she told them Ferguson only worked part-time and was not paid by the daycare. Earnings records show Ferguson earned more than $5,000 this year, working up to 25 hours a week. The state says the daycare has a right to administrative hearing and had 10 days to request one from the time the license was revoked.
But a lot of families left high and dry.
A lot of families, and this is quite a situation.
Yeah, it really is. All right, Rose, thank you.
Thanks. California police say they have arrested the man who killed a police officer during a traffic stop the morning after Christmas. Gustavo Perez Arriaga was arrested at a home in Lamont, California, nearly 200 miles south from where police say he shot and killed Corporal Ronald Singh. They say Arriaga is in the country illegally from Mexico and has 2 DUI arrests. Sheriff Adam Christensen argues Arriaga should have been deported.
This is a criminal illegal alien with prior criminal activity that should have been reported to ICE. We were prohibited, law enforcement was prohibited because of sanctuary laws, and that led to the encounter with Officer Singh.
He's not coming back, but there's a lot of people out there that misses him.
Officers say they've also arrested at least 5 people who helped Arriaga evade capture, including his brother and co-worker.
A roadside bomb hit a tourist bus in Egypt in the area near the Giza pyramids, killing 2 Vietnamese tourists and wounding 12 others. The crude roadside bomb was concealed by a wall. Egypt has battled Islamic militants for years in the Sinai Peninsula, but the conflicts don't usually spill over to the mainland, hitting minority Christians nor tourists. This is the first attack to target foreign tourists in almost 2 years. It is day 7 of the government shutdown, and the president is digging in on his demands that any resolution includes funding for a border wall. Natalie Brand is on Capitol Hill, where it is quiet again after lawmakers left Washington with no resolution to the partial government shutdown.
Discussions have broken down. We do expect this to go on for a while.
It's day 7 of the partial government shutdown, and the White House warns there's no end in sight. President Donald Trump threatened Democrats in a tweet, saying, "We will be forced to close the southern border entirely if the obstructionist Democrats do not give us the money to finish the wall."
Is the president seriously going to do that?
Yeah, listen, it's the only way we can get the Democrats' attention.
Administration officials say the president is willing to come down from his $5 billion figure for the border wall, but Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer says negotiators are still very far apart. The White House and Republican lawmakers are blaming House Minority Leader Nancy Pelosi, saying she will not negotiate until she wins the Speaker's gavel next week.
Nancy Pelosi is only looking to protect her speakership and not protect our borders.
Pelosi's deputy chief of staff responded, saying White House spin growing increasingly desperate and erratic. Pelosi can walk and chew gum. Democratic lawmakers say they'll pass a resolution to reopen the government when they return and take over the House majority on January 3rd. It would still have to get through a GOP-controlled Senate. Smithsonian officials who have so far kept museums open to visitors say they won't make it that long. They plan to close their doors January 2nd, with the partial government shutdown going into the new year. Natalie Brand, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
800,000 federal workers are affected by the shutdown. Acting White House Chief of Staff Mick Mulvaney told reporters more than 400,000 of them will eventually get paid. However, he says the 380,000 furloughed workers require an act of Congress for back pay. Well, with his inauguration just 10 days away, Governor-elect Tony Evers continues to fill his cabinet.
He unveiled 3 new additions to his administration today. Eric Franke has more details in the News Center. Eric.
Amanda and Mark, Tony Evers has now named 10 of his 17 cabinet members. That includes a Dane County supervisor to lead the Department of Veterans Affairs. Mary Kohler is a retired U.S. Navy captain who served 28 years active duty. She's a former chair of the Dane County Veterans Service Commission and has represented downtown Madison on the county board since April of 2013. Kathy Blumenfeld will run the Department of Financial Institutions, and Brian Ponke, who has worked with Evers at the Department of Public Instruction, will serve as budget director.
Our transition team has been working very, very hard, as you might know, getting the best talent to us to interview and to select. And these folks share our common goals to solve problems for the people of Wisconsin. That's always been our goal.
Now, all of the appointments are subject to confirmation by the state Senate, which has a 19-14 Republican majority. And just yesterday, Evers announced Carolyn Stanford Taylor as his successor as state school superintendent. Now, she'll become the first African-American in the state to serve in that role. Mark, Amanda?
All right, Eric Franke live in the News Center. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, there are babies and then there are babies. Meet Allie. She is a newborn that made a record appearance at an Arlington, Texas hospital at an unexpected 14 pounds, 13 ounces. Allie was delivered via a scheduled C-section, and we're told both mom and baby are doing well. My goodness.
Yeah, the kid's already driving. Yeah, she's got her driver's license, voting. Big baby, that's for sure.
Big baby.
When we come back, look back at the year gone by.
We'll remember those we lost in 2018. That's when Live at 4 continues.
Well, more and more people are visiting urgent care centers when they're sick instead of making an appointment with a primary care doctor or going to the ER.
New research in JAMA Internal Medicine finds the number of people treated at urgent care centers has more than doubled over the past 8 years, while visits to primary care doctors and the emergency room for non-life-threatening conditions are declining. Doctors say urgent care should not replace regular doctor visits and that emergencies always require a trip to the ER.
The times that it's really not appropriate to go to an urgent care are things that truly do need the emergency room, like heart attacks, strokes, major motor vehicle accidents, or any other larger trauma.
Most urgent care visits cost significantly less than an ER visit and are similar in price to a primary care visit.
Well, stocks were mixed on Wall Street, but ended the week on a positive note. The Dow Industrials lost 76 points, ending the week at 23,062. The NASDAQ Composite Index added 5, but the S&P 500 lost 3. Well, Stephen Hawking, Burt Reynolds, and President George H.W. Bush are among the prominent leaders and legends who passed away in 2018.
Here is a look back at the celebrities, politicians, entertainers, and others who died this past year.
I love you, precious, with all my heart, and to know that you love me means my life. How often I have thought about the immeasurable joy that will be ours someday. How lucky our children will be to have a mother like you.
I know that I'm the world's luckiest woman.
I've had the most wonderful life and career that anybody you will ever meet.
Christ belongs to all people. He belongs to the whole world.
We ask very simple questions. What makes you happy? What do you eat? What do you like to cook? And everywhere in the world we go and ask these very simple questions, we tend to get some really astonishing answers.
Take a look at this. Chaos ruled in the southeastern Spanish town of Ibi as residents take part in the annual flower fight. The traditional battle with flour, eggs, and firecrackers. What could go wrong? Takes place on December 28th every year as part of a big festival. The celebration marks the Day of the Innocents, which is Spain's equivalent of April Fool's Day. The festival is said to have been celebrated more than 200 years ago, but was revived by the town in 1981.
So it's innocent fun.
It is innocent fun.
Not when you're all messy like that.
I don't know.
Flower power.
I don't know.
Flower power, good one.
Good one, Dave.
Well, it is Friday, December 28th, and it is Call a Friend Day.
I wish I had one.
Hello, Amanda,
Dave.
Mark.
It's also National Chocolate Candy Day. Americans consume 12 pounds of chocolate every year. I have in the past week.
I'm right there with you. And it's National Card Playing Day. During the 9th century, Chinese people started playing games with money and paper objects. Playing cards were first seen during Europe's early Renaissance. That's when the 4 suits were developed. One theory says that clubs, diamonds, hearts, and spades represent the hierarchy of the time.
Aristocracy?
Yes, there we go. Aristocracy, clergy, military, and peasantry. I feel like I fall into that last category. But I was playing trivia last night, and off the top of your head, I had 10 seconds to answer. I got this wrong. What is the king that has the axes on the wall? Which suit is it?
Spades.
Spades?
Heart.
No, that's the one with the sword through the head.
Yeah.
It's diamonds. I got it wrong too, so it's hard to memorize.
25% shot we got.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. That's a question in a lot of trivia. What cards are?
Yeah. You don't pay attention. You just pay attention if you win the hand.
Yeah.
Well, we didn't win the hand today.
Yeah, not really. Although over the next couple of days, we'll get some nicer weather, some quieter weather on the way. Some snow still falling right now. We'll talk about December snow as a whole and what to expect as we start the new year. Hint, hint, it could be a cold start in your First Alert forecast. Good afternoon. Hopefully you're having a great Friday so far. And what are we looking at here? Oh, of course, the video from Duluth. Forgot we were starting with the video here. Sorry, Steve. We have not really been getting a lot of snow, but in portions of northern Minnesota, boy, oh boy, did they get their fair share to kind of kick off the winter season. About 12 inches of snow reported in Duluth, with some areas across northern Minnesota getting about 2 feet of snow. Nothing like that closer to home in southern Wisconsin, where we've been dealing with some light snow throughout the afternoon hours, heading into the evening hours. You can see that radar picture filling in a little bit more across much of southern Wisconsin. We'll zoom in so we can just take a closer look. Really, this snow is not that heavy and really not sticking too much because temperatures have been too warm. Actually, a little bit of freezing drizzle over the last few hours closer to Milwaukee, at least showing up on radar. Tough to tell because this is so light if that is actually hitting the ground. But we'll expect these snow showers, these light snow showers, to stick around, to continue for the next few hours into this evening, and then things will be mostly cloudy by the time we get to the overnight hours. Here's our time lapse in Madison. Started out with those mostly cloudy skies. Then we saw some areas of that snow, kind of fog, drizzle, just very, very light snow, kind of granules coming to the ground. And that's basically what we're seeing right now on the Edgewater Skycam in downtown Madison. Really not going to add to any snow total for the month of December, or at least not adding all that much. Today's high, very misleading because it happened at midnight, 49 degrees. We've spent much of the day, though, in the mid-30s, actually not too far off of the record of 62, but temperatures are going to be a little bit chillier over the next few days. So December snowfall so far this December, with just a few days to go, only 1.2 inches of snow. And remember about a week or so ago, I was talking about in December, at least over the last 20 to 30 years, it really feels like an all or nothing scenario when it comes to snowfall. And you can see that just over the last 5 years, we've either gotten no snow, basically, or all of the snow to fall. And last year, only about 4 inches of snow in 2017 for December, and close to 2 feet in 2016 and 2013. So really, there is not that much in between. And the question becomes, well, if we don't get a lot of snow to start the snow season, can we make it up? I'm not talking about making up the forecast, which I've been accused of on more than one occasion, but can we kind of make up that snowfall deficit? Well, we've had less than 5 inches of snow in December 45 times throughout Madison's history, and we've only had 6 times where the overall seasonal snowfall has been at or above average. One time we had it where it was exactly normal, which was kind of weird. But the last time that happened was in 2006 to 2007, where we had 2.5 inches of snow in December and actually ended up with about 55 inches of snow overall. That year we got much of this snow in January and February. So we'll see what happens over the next couple of months. We could have some snow just in time to start off 2019. Doesn't look like all that much just yet, but we'll talk about that in just a little bit. Temperatures right now are in the upper 20s and low 30s across southern Wisconsin, much colder compared to this time yesterday, 10 to 15 degrees colder, in fact, basically across the board. And our temperatures are a little bit of a mini roller coaster, kind of yo-yoing over the next couple of days. We're in the 30s for Sunday and Monday, but to start the new year, we are in the teens and low 20s with temperatures at night close to 0. Wind chills could be about -5 to -15. For tonight, though, not all that cold, but definitely colder. Temperatures in the low 20s with those snow showers wrapping up as we head throughout the evening hours tomorrow. Mostly cloudy and colder with highs in the upper 20s. So I think those snow showers getting out of here by the time we get to about 10 o'clock tonight. Then the clouds sticking around for much of tomorrow. Temperatures will be in the upper 20s. I do think the sunshine returns with some southerly winds helping temperatures get into the 30s on Sunday. Then we're looking like we're in the middle of 2 systems for the time we get to New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. It's a question still of where that snow will set up and if we do get some rain to mix in for the last day of 2018 or not. So keep it tuned to the forecast for potential changes there, but potentially we could be looking at just a little bit more snow by the time we end this year. But temperatures are much colder, that is for sure, to start 2019 with highs in the teens and low 20s. 2 lonely degrees Tuesday night into Wednesday morning with wind chills of -5 to -15. Then we're back into the 30s with a couple more chances for some rain and snow showers down the road for the first week of 2019.
Winter ain't over.
And no, it's not even close. We got a long way to go.
So what car did you get wrong here? I have official Ho-Chunk cards here.
Well, there we go. I was looking for the king that had the kind of axe, not through the head, but like behind the head.
King of diamonds.
And I said spades. Ugh.
So close.
I know.
What does King of Spades look like?
King of Spades is kind of normal.
He's got a little sword.
Yeah, sword up like that.
No.
Yeah.
You won't get it wrong again.
I won't. I definitely won't.
Now you'll remember. Nobody
Yeah.
watching will ever get it wrong either.
Yeah, exactly.
Now they'll
You're
remember.
welcome, everyone.
Thank you, Dave.
Okay.
Delta is sending something new into the sky.
Next month, the airline will debut its brand new Airbus A220, a plane that breaks with an unpopular trend by offering wider seats, believe it or not. Chris Van Cleve reports.
You could say the Airbus A220 was slow to take off. It started as a plane no one seemed to want, but now Delta is betting it's the jet you're going to want to fly on.
The reason passengers should care about the A220 are 3 magical words: wider coach seats. You don't hear airlines introducing planes that are actually much more comfortable for us as travelers, especially in coach.
Seat size is a common complaint with flyers. The 18.6-inch wide seats are the largest economy seats in Delta's fleet. The 109-seat A220 boasts bigger overhead bins, so your bag's going to fit, larger windows, in-seat power and TV screens, and it's the only airliner we know of that has a loo with a view. Yep, that's a window in the bathroom.
You're at 35,000 feet. It has a shade, but what a view.
The flight deck is state-of-the-art and includes an app to avoid turbulence. Delta's Flight Weather Viewer aims to show pilots where the smooth air is by crowdsourcing data from all of Delta's aircraft.
So climbing up and down, trying to find smooth air, I can look at this and say, yep, it's right there. I know exactly where it is.
If the focus on the inside is comfort, out here it's about efficiency. The plane is made of composite material, so it's lighter, and those engines are new and advanced, making the plane 20% more fuel efficient. Basically, it flies farther for cheaper. The A220 was designed by Canadian jet maker Bombardier, but struggled to win orders and prompted a trade dispute with Boeing until Airbus bought the plane and planned to move some production to the U.S. Delta ordered 75, and JetBlue another 60, which will have the new plane flying high over the U.S. for years to come. Chris Van Cleve, CBS News, Atlanta.
And the wider seats on the plane come as Congress has mandated the FAA to determine a minimum safe seat size on planes. You flew yesterday.
Yeah.
They're getting smaller, aren't
Oh,
they?
yeah. They're pretty small.
Yeah, they are. So this is good news.
Still to come at 4, a lot of big movies opened over the Christmas holiday.
Among them, the Dick Cheney biopic Vice. We'll check out actor Christian Bale's amazing transformation into the former vice president when Live at 4 continues. here's a look at downtown Madison. Traffic moving along on this kind of rainy, snowy, foggy Friday.
All of the above.
Yep. Well, for the new movie Vice, Christian Bale underwent an extreme physical transformation for his portrayal of former Vice President Dick Cheney.
The biopic opened on Christmas Day, and there's already Oscar buzz. Rick Damigella takes a look at the movie Vice.
I have been Secretary of Defense, and I have been White House Chief of Staff. The Vice Presidency is a mostly symbolic job.
Christian Bale is nearly unrecognizable as Dick Cheney in Vice.
The misery is in the losing of the weight. The going to bed hungry and being miserable, yeah. Gaining the weight is easy. Everyone knows how to do that. Losing weight is a little bit trickier.
I can handle the more mundane jobs, overseeing bureaucracy, military, energy, and foreign policy.
Dick Cheney did everything he could not to have a movie made about him. He is not a celebrity. He doesn't want to be a celebrity. He's a mystery. He's very shadowy. I knew right away when I started writing the script, there's only one guy who can go deep into this darkness to figure out who this guy is, and it's Christian Bale.
The cast considers Vice to be more than a political movie.
I know Adam has a really strong point of view and is really outspoken politically, and I always felt like it was my job to be as honest as possible as Lynn, and kind of leave the politics out of it.
It's actually a very heartfelt film. There's a lot of emotion to it. Looking at the man himself and the family, and that it moves beyond just a story about Dick Cheney, but does also become about the nature of power, the incremental ways in which you can change without necessarily realizing it.
We can make this work.
Hot damn.
In Hollywood, I'm Rick Damigella.
That is remarkable.
Wow, what a makeup team.
He looks just like him. Acts like him.
So cool.
Yeah, he's quite an actor.
Yeah.
Vice is now playing. Well, this has become a holiday tradition in Madison, the musical comedy Guys on Ice.
This uniquely Wisconsin show is celebrating its 20th anniversary. We go backstage with Michael Bruno to find out why this show is still so popular. Live at 4 continues.
Good afternoon. Here is your first alert traffic update, taking a live look at John Nolan Drive and the Beltline. Both directions looking pretty good right now. Maybe some minor slowdowns, but really not too much to talk about on a Friday. The Beltline must be the holidays. So across Dane County, no major accidents or incidents to report. Traffic generally heading out at the posted speeds. On the Beltline, still maybe just a couple of slowdowns in spots close to Fish Hatchery Road. Westbound speeds are about 25 to 40 miles per hour. Eastbound, a couple of brake lights here and there, but generally heading out at the posted speeds. So your drive times, everything showing up green. Verona Road to John Nolan Drive, that's down to 5 minutes. Looking good, average speed of around 55 miles per hour. And in the other direction, actually a little bit slower, westbound John Nolan Verona Road with an average speed of around 40 miles per hour. And that is your first alert traffic update.
All right, Dave, thank you. Speaking of traffic, check out this close call caught on dash cam video between a patrol car and a commuter train. A Monica, Illinois police officer was about to cross the tracks when a train speeds in front of him. Warning lights flash, but only after the train was in the intersection, and the gates don't fully fall until after the train passes. The officer says he used a lifetime of luck getting out of the way of that train.
I saw that video. They said something about some electrical problem.
Yeah, with the switch.
Oh my goodness.
I know.
Scary.
And the other guy in front of him just made it too. That's scary. Well, backed by popular demand, the ice fishing musical Guys on Ice is celebrating its 20th year since premiering in 1998 at the Ephraim Town Hall in Door County.
Our Michael Bruno sat down with ice fishing buddies Marvin and Lloyd to find out what makes this show so popular.
When it's 30 below, there is no substitute for the comfort and warmth of a snowmobile suit.
So now this is your 20th anniversary of doing the show. You're back in Madison again. So what's it been like doing this show for 20 years now?
It opened in Ephraim Town Hall in 1998 in Door County. And it was actually commissioned by the Milwaukee Rep as a sesquicentennial production. And it was supposed to be like a documentary type of musical about ice fishermen. And Fred Alley, who wrote it, he was starting interviewing these ice fishermen. And he said, these are so interesting people. Forget about the history of ice fishing. I'm gonna write about these people. And so it began like that.
We stopped counting at around, I don't know, like 1,300 or I don't know. It's been a lot. We've done a few shows together.
Wow.
Yeah.
There is always cold beer in the bucket. When the fish that we wish for is gone. When the fish that we wish for, the fish that we wish for, the fish that we wish for is gone.
And then do you freshen it up? Do you write like new stuff in it? Like you know, like now with like the Packers
little,
having new people and do you put new Packers jokes in?
I should put in right, but you know, it's like I knew Fred Alley was a stickler for he was verbatim with dialogue, and I try to honor his memory. But there's some things I have to add, like when the Packers are doing so, not the greatest of seasons this year. And so I'll add a little snide comment and to make everyone laugh, you know. So, and just a few little things. We're really not. Everyone thinks we're improvising, and I think, you know, but it's probably a testament to us because we come across as improvising, but we're really not improvising, very little in the show.
But that's one of the wonderful things about the show is you really think you're doing this off the cuff. It thinks you guys are just like winging it.
Yeah.
But it really is. That's a testament to how good you guys are as actors, that people think, oh, they're just making this stuff up as they go along.
When you get to do a show this much with somebody, it's like you're almost never thinking about like what's my line or what's my blocking or what song comes next. It's just like all you're doing is just kind of listening to the other guy, which is, you know, it does. There's something
There's something really great. You're
about
right. It is a challenge to do it for 20 years because you're trying to find something fresh every day, and usually it's the audience.
Yeah.
Like Madison audiences are so great. They're probably my favorite audiences because they're laughing at the punchlines, but they're also laughing just as much at the behavior of these people. I always say Madison, the audience is all PhDs, but they all have relatives from up north. And they can relate. Oh, that's my Uncle Louis from Minocqua or somewhere, you know?
We used to get guys, they'd climb out of their tree stands, I kid you not, and they're coming in their camo, and at the rep, when we were running at the rep, there was a couple of years there where these guys, and then they'd come back
They would
with
bring
like
their
4 or
fishing
5
poles
of
and their
guys.
waders.
Some people, some people would dress up just for part
you're
of the
taking
shtick.
it. You're taking it.
But we had a couple of guys who would come right out of their tree stands, and it's got, because there's an authentic, the other tribute to Fred is just, he really did capture like the essence of what these guys are like and what a friendship like theirs is like. And we have fun with those characters, but we're never poking fun of them or looking down on them. And so it's like there's an authenticity to what Fred and Jimmy Kaplan, who wrote the music, you know, captured a lot of the heart of it. And yeah.
Yeah, and he would also, I don't know if people have seen the play, there's this part where I'm talking about do fish think? And Fred and I were just riffing, and he had a tape recorder on. And he took I was saying about animals and fish. They can't feel pain, because I always said, when I ever catch a fish, I wonder if they feel pain. But I said consciousness. I don't know if fish have consciousness like animals, so I don't think they can feel pain. Well, Fred turned that all around to tinking. So that was a direct lift from our conversation. That was how brilliant he was. He just turned it around to these guys. And no, he was a great guy.
There are so many zips that it's hard to resist. And a snap for a hug. That's reversible, too. It is made from the stuff that the astronauts flew. For a parka or coat, I don't give a hoot. For the best thing of all is a snowmobile suit.
Okay, guys, well, thank you so much for being here today, you know.
Oh, that's pretty good there. Yeah, where are you from up here?
Like the way you talk. I'm from Madison, you know.
You're from Madison?
I know, I'm a Southern guy.
Where'd you learn to talk so good?
Oh, I got relatives up in Minocqua.
Oh, good.
Oh, there you go. There's a Minocqua accent. I hear that.
Come see us at the Barrymore.
Oh, come see
check us
Barrymore
out.
January 1st.
The brand new renovated Barrymore.
Beautiful.
No
Have a beer. Have a beer.
All right, Guys on Ice at the Barrymore Theater tonight through Tuesday, January 1st. Go to barrymorelive.com for exact show times and tickets. It's a funny show.
It looks funny.
Check it out. All right, we'll be right back with a final check of your forecast. All right, bundle up if you're heading out compared to last night.
Yeah, exactly. Temperatures are much colder right now compared to this time yesterday, and we do have some snow showers still falling. Pretty light snow, but snow nonetheless, and it will be with us throughout the rest of this evening. Temperatures are in the 20s and low 30s, and over the next 12 hours, we'll dip further through the 20s into the low 20s to start off our Saturday. And we'll see mostly cloudy skies throughout Saturday. Kind of a quieter weekend weather-wise with some sunshine on the way for Sunday, but it does really look like A, we could see a few snowflakes just in time for New Year's Eve, and B, it is a cold start shaping up for the start of 2019.
If you're going up to the Packer game in Lambeau on Sunday, well, it's Lambeau in December.
Yeah, exactly.
Bundle up.
We're used to it.
All right, Jay, thank you. Coming up on the next Live at 4, which returns next Wednesday, Consumer Report says not all cooking oils are created equal. The magazine separates fact from fiction, Dennis.
And our tastemaker checks out the landmark creamery that has finally found a new home in Belleville.
All right, Lola's Lowdown is coming up.
Christmas is over, but don't throw away your tree onto the curb. Give it to a goat.
That's one of the stories Lola and Louie have unwrapped for this week's edition of Lola's Lowdown.
This week on the Lowdown, Fiona weighs in.
The zoo in Rome has some zippy new residents.
And a pup who can't wait to see the vet.
But first, after Christmas, millions of Christmas trees end up as mulch. But not these first. They end up as goat food. It turns out these animals pine for the discarded trees. The needles are a great dewormer, and at this animal farm in Tucson, the trees cut down on the feed bill. It seems like everyone is a winner with this holiday tradition.
Time for a Fiona update. The Cincinnati Zoo's most famous resident has finally broke the 1,000-pound milestone. That's a long way from the 29 pounds she weighed when she was born 6 weeks premature on January 24th of last year. When full grown, Fiona should weigh anywhere from 3,000 to 9,000 pounds. This is one little